Zero tolerance. Found a knife I could get behind, could get excited about. Here it comes. This is a zero tolerance 0609 R.J. Martin design. Here's the box bottom. And it is a looker, guys. This is a really good looking knife. Look at the bronze coloration on this titanium handle. I mean, it is just fantastic. Let me get the lighting over here so you can perhaps see it better. Look at that, dudes. That is a good looking knife. I think the camera's doing a pretty good job of capturing the tone of this bronze finish. I will show you a competitive option that uses the same approach. We're seeing a lot more bronzes in the knife world. I think that's great. I love bronze. I think it's very cool. Just a different finish. Something different to attract the consumer. It's a flipper design, of course. The R.J. Martin 0609. I like the blade shape. We'll start there. What do you guys think? Do you like this blade shape, or is it too different for you? I don't mind it, actually. There's some sculpting going on here, probably typical of an R.J. Martin design. I'm not super familiar with what he normally does. There's just so many knife makers, knife designers. Like I've said, I really don't even try to keep up. I'm just like an impartial reviewer. I like it though, and the steel is CPM 20V, 3.4 inch blade, flat ground. We do have a consistent flat right here for sharpening on the Edge Pro Apex. Which, by the way, a Patreon member just asked me, hey dude, are you still liking the Edge Pro? Do you still use it? Have you found anything better? And my answer was, yeah, I still use it. In fact, I've used it so much over the last, what, not quite 10, probably 8 years or so, excuse me, that I've worn stones out. But it's a great way to put on an edge. Here's an edge I put on a knife. This is a Piranha Auto Pocket Model 1. I just love this. This is one of my all-time favorite auto knives. But this is, I believe, my edge from an Edge Pro Apex. And the downside of this is a flat ground blade, of course, but it doesn't have a consistent flat, so I have to change my angle and then somehow remember what angle I sharpen this knife at. See what I'm saying? So I lay it on here, and it just creates a little bit of a geometry problem for me. Great knife, by the way, love it. Go to Blade HQ, buy your Piranha Model 1. You should have one. Oh my goodness, so cool. This is in that orange. I've had this one for about 6 years. It's an EDC blade for me, and a cast member. Put a little bit of skateboard tape on the back of it. Yeah, I still carry autos. Not too often, but if it's something like this, so small and lightweight, and actually pretty cost effective too for what it is. The Piranha Model 1 is like nothing for an auto knife. But this is the flat portion I'm talking about here. So you can actually rest the blade right here. Anytime I say that in a KRV, that's what I'm talking about. Some really unusual sculpting once again on the top spine. Looking at the tip. Wicked sharp. Very, very sharp. CPM steel, of course. Consistent, hard wearing. They're all pretty good. None are miraculous. I've always said that. Let's look at the lettering right here. Good looking blade. Good looking blade. Really is. There's your stop pin on this. And looking at this 0609, it really presents like a semi-custom to me. There's some other ZT offerings that I've reviewed that I may or may not have said that about, like the 0562. I don't really remember. Go look those reviews up, done years ago here. This one does. Maybe it's the fancy glistening bronze finish on the titanium handle. I don't know. The blade finishing is superb. There are actually no flaws in it at all. Of course, it's a collaboration with Martin. He probably oversaw the production of it. At least the initial samples said, yeah, that meets my standards. Just really well executed. I can't say much bad about this knife in terms of fit, finish, and quality. Centering is perfect. Blade retention on the 0609. And I'm going to do this off camera. I can't even flip it out, so that's not actually a bad thing. I'm talking about the ball detent, the retention detent. That's not a bad thing at all. It's going to be pretty solid. I've got a jacked up wrist still. I still got my wrist brace on with my sewn on Apple Watch. Which, by the way, I recommend you guys do. This is temporary. Hopefully my wrist heals up. Good looking knife. Comes out really fast. KVT ball bearings in it. And Kershaw is putting that in pretty much everything, it seems like. I mean, it's really gained in popularity. It's a cage ball bearing system. You might be able to take a peek at it here. Right in there. Now, could you get mud or something in there? Probably. Creating a grip problem, you have to take it apart, clean it, or somehow flush it out. It's not a sealed ball bearing system. I don't think. I could be wrong. But taking it apart is going to be a challenge because we have a proprietary pivot point here on the 0609. Not necessarily a bad thing because it adds a ton of visual interest. It says STP see-through pivot. It is an RJ Martin design feature, and I think it looks great, and you can probably find some way to spin that off without scratching it. Someone somewhere is probably making a tool for that, but that's time and money. You're going to have to go out and seek that tool if you need to even adjust it. Actually, as you're seeing right now, it doesn't need adjustment at all. But I was mentioning if you got your ball bearings, jacked up or dirty, that could be an issue. Just really smooth, fully ambidextrous with a flipper design. Let's look at the flipper. Zero tolerance has improved. Check this out. So it's like smooth as opposed to the rough transitions we've seen on a lot of ZT blades. Maybe they've been watching my criticisms, and there's some that I couldn't believe they had just the sharp transitions. This one's perfect. Perfect. There's your engagement on the lock bar. And I believe this has an internal over travel stop, so you can't hyperextend your lock bar. And I think that functions for the steel insert as well, which is technically, I guess, replaceable, but good luck getting one. You'll probably never put enough wear on it to even make it matter either. I hope I'm telling you right on the hyper extension thing. No, I'm not going to test it. I'm looking down because I've been handling like 4 different blades today. That's why. And each one is a little bit different. But I think that does extend down so you can't push that lock bar out too much. If I'm wrong, sorry. Review goes on. Perfect clip. Not. It's not perfect. I like its execution. I like how it's kind of frosted. Has a satin finish. Has a ZT logo on it. All that's good. It's low profile. It looks to be capable of taking thicker tactical pants. 2-screw attachment strong enough. It's not perfect because you're going to have this much of the blade, or I should say the handle, sticking out, it's something. Honestly though, I don't think a lot of guys are going to be carrying this. I think they're just going to put it in their collections and fondle it while they watch television or something, or nutnfancy videos. It's a good philosophy of use, by the way. I would not call this a tactical blade. It's basically, like I'm saying right now, a collectible blade, maybe an EDCer. Maybe a little bit long in the tooth. I'm talking the length of the blade, 3.4 inches for me as an EDC blade. But it could work. I like how they serial number it too. Yeah, it's good finishing on that blade. Really nice. No hot spots on the handle either. Notice how it's all chamfered and rounded. You can reverse a pocket clip as you're seeing right there to put it on the other side if you so desire in God's intended position, and that is tip up. Thank you. Your knockoffs here. I think those are just stainless steel, but just a super clean knife, super clean presentation. I didn't mention the weight yet. It's not ultra light. It's 3.4 ounces. I'm sorry, 3.8 ounces for the 0609 RJ Martin. Doable, totally doable. But yeah, it presents like a semi-custom. Now for some competitive options. Guys love it when I do this. They're just like, yeah, I love your competitive options. Here comes a cast member. I reviewed this some months ago. This is a Ferrum Forge Crux. It was a mass drop edition. This thing is an awesome blade. It's Chinese produced. This is 100% produced in the United States. You may bounce into Blade HQ what they're selling it for as well. And I think I wouldn't say it's like an awesome price, but what do I always say? If you want a US produced knife, you're going to pony up and pay the dollars, right? And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So the FF Crux, which by the way is a little bit heavier at 4.2 ounces, but it's the same type of construction, bronze finish, titanium handle, super quality, S35 in the steel on this, 125 bucks. At least when we got it. Price is subject to change. If I can find a link for it, I'll put it in there. They're about the same size. They present about the same way. Now the bronze finish on the Ferrum Forge on this one is kind of matte, as you can see. So it's a different approach. It's still a bronze finish, but they're going for like an antique worn finish, which I think is cool. Did come in silver, gray, and I think black as well. Satin finish blade. Classic drop point blade. S35. Perfect finishing. It's just a great knife. These two knives seem like they're brothers to me. They really do. The speed of the Ferrum Forge is excellent. The lockup is perfect. Good competitive option, it really is. If you were to press me between the two, which one would I get? I'm going to tell you, I really like this ZT, and I'm happy to come to table and give Kershaw some positive press. I mean, I've been critical of some of the other ZT knives. This one's really good. I like it. I'd be super, super happy to put it in my collection. In fact, I'm thinking about buying one just as a cast member. This one's on loan right now, for sure. This is a little bit lighter. I think it's a little bit more special. It's made in the United States. You know, I love this knife, though. It's very well done. One thing I didn't mention, I'm glad I remembered, is I don't like that the jimping is non-functional. Granted, this has none at all, but I kind of wish they would have run some jimping. I think it looks kind of like a spine on a dinosaur going on here. So I think it's completely aesthetic. And that's okay. Every knife doesn't have to be jimped, especially when it's, like I'm saying here, kind of a semi-custom. The ZT, though, the 0609, is going to be highly recommended. It's great blade steel. Beautiful, beautiful bronze handle. The see-through pivot is super cool. The speed, the lockup, everything is tight. Well done. Zero tolerance.